Lord Ashcroft talking to our reporter Ben Wright, and the Mayor of London rather, Boris Johnson is with me here at the BBC stand, and a fair crowd here. I don't think they're here for me. I mean, there is quite a lot of...
Martha, I'm sure they are.
A lot of Boris mania. I gather your wife's a bit worried that it's all going to your head.
Well, I think that it would be a good thing, as Michael Ashcroft was rightly saying, and others have said so far. I think it'd be a very good thing if this spotlight did move off this non-issue and back onto the things that really matter to the people who elected me in London, which is their jobs, what we're doing to bring down crime, how we're getting investment in transport, and what we're doing to make their lives
you
better.
Encourage this, don't you? I mean, you had a big conference speech here this morning, but you held a rally last night, didn't you, with an extraordinary video, which I watched, which was called Mission Embarrassable. That's just encouraging the cult, isn't it?
Well, actually, that was Conservative Home are perfectly entitled to have their... I actually did a Conservative rally... home rally last year and the year before, as far as I can remember.
You could have said no. You could have modestly stood back and said, no, I've got a big conference speech. I don't want to overshadow the Prime Minister.
I suppose I could have done, but then I would have missed a chance, frankly, to tell people what we've been doing and to thank large numbers of them who worked really hard to get me in. I mean, those guys were out on the streets shoving my 9-point plan, most of which even I can't remember. Well, I can remember the gist of it, obviously, but I couldn't recite every detail of the 9-point plan.
You could have thanked them from the conference floor there, come on, be honest.
They could, and a lot of them really wanted to hear what we were doing to deliver on that manifesto.
And in both of the speeches that you made, you were very loyal to the Prime Minister, despite calling him a broom. That was said in a loyal way.
Yeah, a loyal.
But you're loyal here at the conference.
In fact, I supported all household implements that this government incarnates. That was the point. They are. I think you were a J-cloth, Michael.
We will be speaking to the J-cloth, the education sector.
The point being that it is the historic function of Conservatives to clear up the mess left by Labour governments. That's what happens time after time. That's
Indeed.
What this government is doing, and they're doing a very, very good job of it.
Exactly, and you are very loyal today, but you're not so loyal, are you, when we're away from the conference? For example, do you still think that the government is heading for economic catastrophe because of the aviation capacity?
As I also said, and I made this point several times now, particularly at the rally last night, people will expect me, people who elected me in London know that I've got to stick up for London, and I've got to say things sometimes that will be either ahead of or at variance with Conservative Party policy.
But it's very strong, isn't it? It's a headline, isn't it? The London Mayor accuses party colleague, Prime Minister, of heading for economic catastrophe.
Well, I certainly think in respect of aviation, unless we get that right, then we are, we're like the frog in the ever, boiling pot of water. We are not taking the decisive action that we need to make ourselves competitive with other European countries, with Dubai, with all these competitors of ours that are putting on new runways. And the point I was making today is that we've got a great opportunity now to build on the success of the Olympics, the optimism, the confidence that's given the country, and sort out some of these long-term problems. And in a way that will deliver jobs and growth for a long time to come.
But why are you so disloyal publicly? You know the Prime Minister very well. You were at Chequers recently. Wouldn't it be more effective to have a quiet word behind the scenes instead of shouting your criticism from the rooftops?
Well, let's be clear about aviation, Martha, because there, I'm afraid I don't think that would be the right thing for me to do, because if you look at what's happening, there is a danger that government policy will be to tiptoe back towards a third runway at Heathrow, which would be an environmental catastrophe. And that is not what we want to see. 725,000 people around Heathrow already suffer from acute noise pollution. That is about a third of the total number of people who suffer from noise pollution in all the 76 airports of Europe.
Indeed, it's a subject.
It is something that needs to be addressed.
And so
when you can't get your message across privately, and believe me, I have done it privately. I've been sedulous in trying to explain what I think should happen. It is necessary for a mayor to go public.
You're mayor now. What about Prime Minister? Ken Clarke had a few words for you. So if you want to be Prime Minister, you have to demonstrate you can seriously deliver on some complicated subjects. Nose to the grindstone, I would advise him.
Well, I think that is, of course, as ever, from Ken, very good advice. And that's why, actually, I would welcome the spotlight of moving away from what I think is an increasingly tired, hackneyed and desiccated, super masticated issue.
Well, you could close it down by saying you don't want to be Prime Minister.
Well, what I want to do is be Mayor of London and get on with delivering the things that I was elected to do. We've got a huge programme. We've just had a wonderful Paralympic Games. £9.3 billion was spent on delivering that. We need to get value for that, for this country and for London, and that's a massive job.
Boris Johnson, London Mayor, many thanks indeed
Thank
for
you.
joining us.